What's up, Capricorn? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an awesome week so far. So for those of you who are returning, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate your likes and shares. And for those of you who are new, you are in for an awesome journey. So what I'm going to be doing is a tarot card reading for the week of October 16th through the 22nd. And just as a reminder, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, okay? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Your space has been cleansed. I'm gonna get my shit together. And I'm gonna start doing that by pulling 15 cards. Gonna be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to represent the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right hand corner are going to be some possible future outcomes that you might be considering. The bottom left is the psychological basis or some perspectives to consider when dealing with the nature of the problem. And finally, the bottom right is any messages that your higher self would like you to know. So, and if you're curious, the deck that I'm using is Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The art on these cards are so cool, so I'll be sure to show you them throughout. But without further ado, higher self, what do we have in store for Capricorn this week? Let's get these cards pulled and get this show started. Okay, and last but not least. Okay. Alright, Capricorn, let me get these cards organized, and we'll get right to it. That's really cool. Okay. Nice. Okay, Capricorn. So, the nature of your problem is the 5 of Wands. And then the cards that came along with it are the 4 of Disc and the 7 of Cups. So, Capricorn, I feel like this week we're having trouble with energy. We're not sure. I feel like some of you might be feeling this. With the five of Wands, I feel like this is a card of frustration. You know, I feel like this is a card that, you know, when you have all this energy and, you know, like not like big energy, but, you know, just like little things. It's like let's say you want to start something, but like it feels like everything is preventing you from getting into that. And I feel like that's what this 5 of Wands is representing. You know, you got these 4 wands behind this main one, and it's like these are, you know, the energy's getting started, but there's just like that one thing that's just like, what is this? Why is this so frustrating? It's just very, very frustrating energy this week, and I feel like you're trying to just get a grip of that. You know, I feel like you're trying to, you know, not necessarily let this bother you, but sometimes with these feelings of frustration, it's like it's like, you know, that you got to give some space, but it's like, okay, well, maybe if I try it this way, and then it just compounds, and you keep trying that, maybe trying to force this frustration to go away, and that just exacerbates it even more. So I feel like this week, you know, this is really kind of like taking a step back, maybe taking a little bit longer to address this issue, because maybe it's not something that can be dealt with like immediately. This might be something you need to get yourself in a more, like maybe once you're at home, you know, kind of getting your safe space, so that you can really kind of take this moment and be with whatever this 5 of Wands' frustration is, because it's, you know, it's got strife on the card, and what can frustration cause? Shit ton of strife, I'll tell you what. So yeah, I feel like that's the focus what you're for you this week. And the cards that came partnered with it, 4 of Disc and the 7 of Cups. That's nice, because the 4 of Disc, this is one of your cards. This is the Sun in Capricorn, and this is a card about. I gotta move some of these cards up. Okay, this is a card about kind of gaining balance again. This is about law and order, getting your power back. So I feel like for some of you, you know, once you've taken that time, kind of gotten to that space, this is about getting that foundation again. You've been kind of caught up in this, but now we're getting our bearings a little bit. It's things are starting to make a little more sense. And I think this is kind of appropriate that you're rebuilding this platform, because then that'll give you some time too to address this Seven of Cups. Because the Seven of Cups to me it's my card of like toxicity in whatever form that looks like for you. It can be whether it has debauch here. In any acts of like debauchery, you think about like sex, drugs, alcohol. But I feel like this is more so what is sullying your cups. There's something here. If your main cup is not right, all these other cups in here you're just going to keep, toxicity is going to beget toxicity and vice versa. So, I feel like this week, we're trying to get our foundation again. We're trying to gain that power. But while in doing that, where are we at emotionally? Because the cups, I should probably mention that with all of them. Wands have to do with energy. Cups, disc usually have to do with monetary or business matters. Oh wait, did I say cups? That I definitely meant disc if I said cups. Disc have to deal with monetary and monetary and financial, same thing. I'm almost done throwing word salad at you. It is about business and finances for the disc, emotions for the cups, and intellect for the swords. That whole mess was to tell you that clean that shit up. Don't let it become this. Okay, we're all gonna take a minute. Capricorn, let's breathe. Okay. Now that we've breathed, now we can deal with that. Look at how much better. Even now, I feel that I'm getting my grips again. I'm getting my Four of Disc again. And that's what the cards want for you this week, Capricorn, to get those, to clean those cups up a little bit. What things aren't serving a good purpose for you? Is it people that you keep? Is it company you keep? Is it some kind of behavior? Is it like where's this excess coming in? This is I'm gonna spend a little more of this in before we move on, but I really feel like here I like to emphasize with the Seven of Cups, because it's sneaky how it'll get in there sometimes, and sometimes you won't see it until it becomes a devil moment, or or a tower comes in, or whatever have you. You got a couple of what I like to not call negative cards, but I'm referring to them as mindful cards, because that's all that these negative cards are brought to bring mindfulness to our attention. And that's all that this is. When these cards pop up, don't be like, oh no, it's okay. It's just shedding some light on some things. Like, hey, maybe we've been in this frustration. We might have channeling our energy elsewhere. Some other things just might have gotten out of hand, and I feel like Seven of Cups is a very light way of just saying like, hey, is our emotional state in order? Are we feeling good? So I won't push that too much more, but yeah, that's what I'm feeling this week, Capricorn. For Four of Disc, at least in this nature, that's where we're trying to get to, so that hopefully this will free up that energy in them, so that you can channel that out there. Do this better. Let's move on to some future. So let's see how we're gonna deal with that. All right. Where do I want to start? Let's start on the right. So on the upper right, and the nice thing about the future too is, these are just two of infinite outcomes that you can do. Play around with the future a little bit. If you see like a combination come together here, which I'm gonna do here as we go through the reading, but yeah, definitely make the future yours, Capricorn. You got the power. So on the right hand side, you're chilling. I pulled the Seven of Disc, the Six of Disc, and the Prince of Disc. So all the earth energy, which I guess is appropriate, being you are the cardinal earth sign. But the Seven of Disc is a card of, it says it's a card of failure, but I feel like it's failure in the sense of, do we have any sort of like goals that we didn't meet? Did you, where, did maybe in the past, maybe something didn't quite work out like you wanted to, and that's what's adding on to this frustration. It's taking longer to get to this Four of Disc. But yeah, I feel like with this is like either you have some unmet goals, some unfinished projects. I feel like this is kind of bringing your attention to what are some things that maybe you could. They weren't necessarily failures, but it's just like how can we take those moments and use them to turn them into wisdom, because I feel like a failure is not just there to call you that; it's there to lift you up. Because if we were just good at everything, then life would be kind of boring. This at least adds a little spice to things. So it's just like where have we been kind of falling short? Where are some things that maybe could bring that we could channel channel this energy into? Because maybe that's what this strife is about. This could be maybe things aren't quite if this is related to like a current project. Maybe things aren't quite lining up to, how you want to, and you're causing this for frustration because it could be this might not be the thing that you really want to do. It could be, listen, this is not me telling you what to do, but it's just a perspective to think about. Like, is this bringing you joy? Because I feel like if it's something that you're doing, it's okay to get frustrated at times, but to get constantly frustrated, I feel like at some point we got to check in on this, because that is going to, and I feel like once you do, you're going to get your success, but it's going to take some work, because I mean this is pretty self-explanatory. Six of disc, it's about we've gotten there, now like things are getting back on track. At first, there might have been some bumps along the way, but now we're getting back into the groove of things. Things are really starting to light up. These are like victories, like yes, we got this. But with this Prince of Disc here, I feel like this is saying, be patient. Don't try to force this frustration to go away. Because sometimes in that, what happens sometimes, if it doesn't quite go what you want, you get more frustrated, and then it just becomes this sick cycle. And then we got Seven of Cups, and down the line, that'll build into a Devil moment, which is your card, which, I'm excited to see I'm excited for all cards to pop up, especially your sign. But if we can, if we can control where our devil moments happen, let's do that. And I feel like that's what the Prince of Disc does. He's a card of patience, perseverance, stability. This guy, he's the one you call when you need a responsible adult in the room. And you know what? This could represent a person. Princes and queens in this deck can represent people. Could be an earth sign. Definitely could be you, because, you're an earth sign. And I like to tell people before they apply them to other people in their lives, definitely think about this applying to you first. This could be just you coming in for you. Just being practicing that patience, that perseverance, doing all that, because you're a hard worker, Capricorn. I know it. I'm surrounded by Capricorns. A good chunk of my friends are surprised. Either if it's not their sun, then it's somewhere in their chart. So believe me when I say Capricorns, it's going to be all right. But just take a little patience. Don't try to force this Five of Wands to go away. It is going to go away with time, because we got success here. All of these, what I like to tell people, I don't know if I mentioned this, but when, in these groups, if you have like suits, they definitely exemplify each other. Exemplify, that sounds like a word. We're going to roll with it. That, or they really enhance each other. So I really do feel like in this, if you take this, whatever these failures were, and apply them to this. This is like, we're not letting this run our lives. We're using this as a teacher to get to this success. So hopefully that resonates with some of you. That's what I'm feeling with one aspect of this future. Now another, on the left-hand side here, I pulled the Five of Swords, the Aeon card, and the Seven of Wands. So with this Five of Swords here, this is like a card of defeat, or maybe it could be even like maybe like an unexpected like disturbance kind of came in, something that caused this Five of Wands energy. It's something that happens, and it gets you in this place where it feels like you can't get over it. It's got you so defeated that they keep coming in. All these swords, I want to say they all have different, I don't know if you can see, they all have different handles on here. And with the swords pertaining to intellectual matters, I like to think of that as, it's just like, oh, you could have did this better, you could have did this better, you could have this better, this better, this better. It's just like, whoa, we don't need to come at each other, come at yourself so hot, shit happens, but this is going to be the mantra for the reading, take these moments, turn them into wisdom, because I feel like with this Aeon card here, all this negativity, you're picking up on this. My words are coming through, and you're getting ready to bring these to, bring all this negative thinking to an end. You're going to take that energy and channel it towards something. The Aeon card, on top of representing closure, is about definitive action. So, maybe, you've had enough. We're done being frustrated. It's time to get this 4 of disc so that we can get our 6 of disc. So I do feel like a lot of you are coming to, or some of you, I want a lot of you too, but definitely some of you, I feel like that realization is coming, and you're getting ready to get into that chapter in your life is closing. We're going to take those lessons and apply it to what's coming new. And that's going to require some courage. This is the 7 of Wands here is about that. It's about, this card says a Valour, but I feel that it's more about, look at these wands here. Everything's all perfect under here, but you got this one thing that's getting in the way of putting this on display. Because normally in the 6 of Wands, I feel like it's these same wands here. They're in this, minus this middle one, they're in this same formation, but the flames they're these nice little candle-like flames, as opposed to this kind of like static, like that strife, that frustration. And I feel like everything's perfect. You just got to get out of your way, and that takes courage. It's going to take some. You got to be able to face that, because sometimes, facing your stuff is like it's not the greatest all the time, but once you do it, you're gonna feel. I feel like the relief is going to make it worth this challenge. So that's what I'm getting up here with this future Capricorns. Hopefully that resonates with you. And like I said, definitely play around with this future. This stuff over here. You can come with that Prince of Disc. You don't have to leave that Prince of Disc mentality over on just one side. Definitely apply this patience. When you get to that closure, with a little patience, you are going to get this. You are going to get out of your way, and then this energy is going to explode. And with how I was talking about the 6 of Wands, we're going to get to that victory, but it may not have showed up, but for sure the 6 of Discs showed up. So there is success on the horizon. All right, let's move on from that. Okay. Yes, let's move on from that, because now we got another 3 of a kind here, Sagittarius. Wow. I know where I'm at. Capricorn, my lovely Capricorns. Forgive me for that. You know what? I'm picking up Sagittarius in some of your charts. That's what that was. You like that save? Where your head's at, because I don't know where mine is. You got the Princess of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So this is dope. So I feel like this really kind of fits in nicely with the 7 of Wands. Now that we've established the issue, things are coming to a close. We're getting ready to channel this energy and go. That's what this Princess of Wands is coming in here for. Just like, hey, I get it. You've been going through the ringer, but now it's time to get out there and shine again. You've been let the world beat you down, but show them how strong you are. Look at how proud she is. The Princess of Wands she represents to me that, that kind of ambition, when you you're meant to do something, and you got that fire, and you're like really passionate about something. That's the Princess of Wands. She's a very ambitious energy. Look at her. She's got this. She don't care about what you think. I have many opinions of this hat. She don't give a shit about any of them, because she loves this hat. She's got her wand. Hell, even her tiger's like, I don't really want to go out, and she's like, that's fine. I'm gonna wear you as a cape. You chill. She's about getting it done. Sometimes it can be a little reckless. That's my only caveat with her. Her and the Knight of Wands, they got some reckless tendencies sometimes, but their intentions are pure. They're definitely coming in wanting to, with that ambition and that that just like that light in their eyes of just like that excitement of just like all the opportunities. That's what this Princess of Wands to me represents. And I feel like that's, it's going to come with first, we got to gather our strength up first. The Nine of Wands to me represents, this is like recovery. This is like, you've been, we've been in kind of that defeatist, kind of been, feeling like failures, kind of, maybe we've been drinking a little bit because, hey, maybe smoking some, but now but that's all coming to a close. We got our shit together, and now it's time to rest and kind of get our reserves up. Because look, if you see here, you got 8 wands. Oh, if you see, you can see me. Now let's go back to this 8 of wands. Wow. 9 of wands. Capricorn, you're really getting it today. With this 9 of wands, you got these 8 arrows underneath here. And that's like, I like to think of it as like, this is you getting your arsenal ready, conserving that strength. You're calculating this. It's like, okay, this is going to go for this is going to go for that. And then this middle one, this center one, this is your main arrow. This is the moon in Sagittarius. So it's like you're getting your rest, getting that rest, getting your strength, so that when you go out, you're just going to unleash the sun on everybody. You're going to spread that joy. And you're going to do it with such authority, such calmness. That's what the Queen of Wands represents. She's like, we've graduated. This is what happens when the Princess of Wands graduates. She becomes a Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, she is in command of her environment. She's the queens represent the watery part of an element. So she's the watery part of fire. And you would think, with being two contradictory elements, that she'd be a hot mess. She'd be switching her screens back and forth and not sure what the hell she's doing. But no, her screens are exactly where they're supposed to be, as are her her cheetah. Her wand is, just everything about her is very majestic. She's very calm. Yeah, that's what I get with her. She's very much in control, and that's where I feel like this is where your headspace is. This is where you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to where we've got that foundation again. Where we got that foundation again. And I feel like you do. Once you get there, you revel in that. Claim that throne, wear your crown proudly, because now we're not wearing a funny hat. Now we have our crown. So, and with this, again, this Wands energy, this is big stuff. And you got 2 court cards here, so I do feel like that this is going to be good for you. That rest, it's almost like, I'm going to do a Pokemon reference. It's like you're in your Caterpie phase. We've evolved in the Metapod. We're resting, and now we've become a beautiful Butterfree for you. Wow. Yeah, we geeked out there. You're really getting it, Capricorn. I'm digging the energy here, so I hope you are too. But I'm feeling really good about where at least where your head's at, or at least how you're going to go about dealing with this. I gotta think of a better title for this corner. But let's keep it moving. If we got some more to say here, I feel like after that Pokemon reference, we should go ahead and move on. So, for messages from your higher self, a little less Pokemon here. We have the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and the Priestess. So, 9 of Cups, pretty straightforward. This is about you finding that happiness. Now we've gone through it. We're sitting on our throne, and we're happy as hell. Look at that. Just abundance pouring out of these cups. And I feel like this is something, when I feel like with abundance, the nice thing about that is, once you get that abundance, I feel like the best way to keep feeding that abundance is just like, how can I help others get that same feeling that I'm feeling, so that it's just like becomes this like, we're just drowning in cups, but in the best way possible. How do we keep this happiness going? Once we achieve that level of emotional abundance, material abundance, whatever it may have you, how do we kind of spread that around? And I feel like with this 10 of Wands popping up here, this is just signifying to me that your higher self is letting you know that this age of, this really kind of, the 10 of Wands is a very destructive energy. It's kind of like fire at its crudest. It's but it's also kind of like the how do I want to describe the Ten of Wands? It's like it normally is like this oppressive kind of, that stifling kind of energy, that very similar to this Five of Swords here, but double that. And I feel like this is saying that that you're getting out of that. This is kind of like the end of kind of like not faulty reasoning, but just sort of like kind of like heralds like a new what am I trying to get at with this Ten of Wands? What do we want this Ten of Wands to? I feel that this is just you. This is you getting over that oppressive state. You've got your happiness, and what better way to kind of deal with this kind of fiery, kind of assuage this oppressive energy than with some happiness. And I feel like this is you with the Priestess being here. The Priestess is about intuition and refinement and kind of like that fluctuation, dealing with that ever changing, that ebbing and flowing of energies. And I feel like, once you've learned to, because these moments don't go away. They pop up when they're needed. So I feel like it's one of those things, once you've really kind of refined that gift, really kind of channeled into that intuitively, and you're really learning how to navigate that energy and meld that energy to your to work for you. You're gonna get this abundance again, this happiness, this cornucopia down here. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling here. Now let's do an intentional transfer. Hey. Good thing I have. Well, never mind. Well, yeah, no. Good thing I had my clothes on. Unlike this Princess of Swords here. Oh, look at that. I even called it a wrong thing. Bad joke. We're moving on. Capricorn. Everything's going to be all right, is really what I'm getting at. I get that frustration happens. All these things. And again, this really could be, what is kind of going on in this Seven of Cups energy. This is, frustration. When I think about debauchery, again, this is not about, it doesn't stick to just like your typical sex, drugs, alcohol. You can sell your cups by working too much, because then you're exhausted. You're giving your all out here, but then you're not spending enough time here. And then that spills over into, if you have a family, that's going to spill over into your life because you're not getting the time there. And then it just becomes frustrating. And then it becomes this whole thing. And then maybe eventually we're stopping that. We're not getting in this cage. We're not getting in this Ten of Wands anymore. We're breaking out of this prison, There we go. This is, I feel like this is you with your higher self. It's just like, yo, I get it, but it's time to get out of your own way. Because it's not serving you a purpose. You can keep getting frustrated, but this is like, let's let this go. Let's just take the time. It might just be time to just take some time off for yourself. You got some extra PTO lying around, or you might be in between. If you're in between stuff, take this time to rest in between. I don't think I really emphasize that enough. So I'm going to come back. Don't go anywhere. We rest up, recover, get your strength, because then you're going to, happiness is right there. Queen of Wands is right there. But even the Queen of Wands has to rest, So, let's get you in the right places. That's what I have for you, Capricorn. That was a bumpy ride, but I hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully in that mess something resonated with you. Please like, share, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. And check your... I need to check my Mercury because oh, wow. See? My communication is off. But I had you check that last week. Let's check our Venus this week. Yeah. We're doing that. See how you love. See how you need to be loved. See. Just see, Capricorn. Just see. You see? Clearly, I need to take some time to rest and relax too. So I'll do it if you do it, okay? Now, let's get this stuff out of the way because it's time for Celestial News Weekly. It's really become this game now. I'm trying to figure out with each sign I'm trying to get, how can I introduce Celestial News Weekly a little more obnoxiously than I did the last one. I think Aries got a pretty good one. They might be ahead so far. That wasn't too bad. I've given you enough, so I kept it kind of light this time, Caps. So, I don't know why I'm calling you Caps. On to the news. So, for on the 17th, that's tomorrow, it's the last quarter moon. And again, it's about that, well, not again, this is the first time you're hearing it. It's about letting go. This is a it represents like transitions, completion, all of that. Let's let some of this stuff go. Let's take some of this energy. I'm just going to pile up all this stuff here. Let's take some of this energy. Ooh, wow, Capricorn. We got a lot to let go. But let's go ahead and start, pick one. Pick one and let's start transitioning out of there. Let's let go of this frustration this week. Let's start there. Because I feel like Seven of Cups is going to come. But what's causing that Seven of Cups is all this stuff in between or before it. So I feel like this is a time to start taking, and it's also a time to take responsibilities for any kind of mistakes and accomplishments. Own those, apply them as you're getting ready to go into this new, until we get into the next, lunar phase. From new moon to new moon. Next, I know I was on a retrograde party last week, so we're keeping retrogrades light this week. I have one, if this is new to you, it's Chiron is in retrograde right now. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Chiron is, it was discovered in, for your history buffs, 1977, and it is, it was classified as an asteroid, but then got an up. It went from Princess of Wands to Queen of Wands, but, well, it went from like Princess of Wands, whatever's in between a princess and a queen, because it's not a full-on planet. It's a minor planet, and its orbit is between Saturn and Uranus, which Saturn is your ruler. If I'm not mistaken, Saturn is your ruler. Irrelevant. It's it's named after the Greek centaur, who I think he trained Achilles. These are just random facts about Chiron. But he trained Achilles and Hercules, but is known as the wounded healer. And it's really about a time for, Chiron has to deal with like trauma, any sort of whatever trauma, whatever that looks like for you. And with it being in retrograde, this is really a good time for internal healing, really kind of going through and just like, with this Seven of Cups, last thing on the Seven of Cups, this main cup here, this is like your biggest cup here. And it's like, it's all spilling out. It's like, this is like your main pump, and it's all being pumped through these, and they're just spitting out more of this bile and all this grossness. And this is a time to kind of deal with that. Whatever traumas are looking like for you, and deal with them as you will. It's going to be in retrograde till the 23rd, so there's plenty of time. And you might have already started to. It's been in retrograde since July. So, maybe we're not so, well, it's the nature of your problem, so you're still a little frustrated. But, maybe we're not feeling so oppressed, or maybe it's time to deal with that, whichever one is popping out. Pick one, and then let's deal with it. Because I feel like once you start it, you'll see how easy it is. But sometimes it's just like getting to that first step. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Oh, one last little fun fact. Really random fun fact. Chiron is in each sign for on an average of 4 years, but for some reason, which I am going to look into, it stays in Aries and Pisces my only guess is them being, Aries being the beginning, Pisces being the end. It stays in Pisces and Aries for about 7 to 8 years, and then Libra and Virgo, it only stays in those signs for 1 to 2 years. So we're going to dig into what Chiron's doing. Lastly, we have, I'm going to start getting into aspects, because, it's not always happen in space, but, well, yes, it is. Once we start throwing in these, I'm introducing aspects into the news. And that's aspects that have to be, it's like how planets are in relationship to each other, how many degrees they are apart from one another. And believe it or not, those degrees have different influences on us. So, for example, you have the Sun trine with Mars. And to be trine, it's Trine. It's at, the planets are at 120 degrees of each other. It ends on the 26th of this month, and that's the energy that you'll kind of feel right now is if you've been feeling like you needed to start something. Maybe you've put a close. We've gotten to a close of something, and now we're getting ready to start something new. This is definitely take that stick, get out of there, and go. Take that courage and just bam. Perfect. Sun trine and Mars is the Princess of Wands. It's about that feeling of just like go out and get stuff. Getting projects. Starting projects, whatever that looks like for you. That's what the Sun trine and Mars is. You just got that extra motivation to do stuff. And then lastly, you have Venus squared with Pluto, which is Venus is at a 90 degrees apart from Pluto. And that ends on the 25th of this month. And what that's about is just like being aware of any discord in relationships. So if there's anything that's been kind of lingering in, and I say relationships, it could be with a lover, could be with a friend, could be with your parents, whatever relationship is, just be aware of discord and dissonance at this time, And it's a good time to maybe bring those, if you are noticing something, it's, might be that time to just kind of create that safe space to just be like, hey, have I done something to piss you off this week? Oh, okay, let's talk about it. And then hopefully the other person will reciprocate that. And then, healthy discussion is kind of comes from that. So, yeah, I like that. I like that, Capricorn. Yeah, again, sorry, especially for you new ones. Sorry for the bumpy ride. For those of you who have who've been with me, granted this is like my second week, but sometimes we can be a hot mess. I do appreciate you sticking with me. I do hope these messages are resonating well. And for sticking with me, I'm going to pull a surprise card at the bottom because, I wouldn't do that to you. Ah! Nice. 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords is my burnout card. This is taking that time to rest your strength. If you're juggling a bunch of things, the analogy or how I present the 7 of Swords is, you got this main. Oh, I promise I do with a little more grace. You got this main sword here, and then you got 6 other things on your plate. You might be able to handle 1 or 2. That's cool, but after a while, you continuously got like 6 things on your mind using the same sword. That's eventually going to wear out, and it has futility on here because, in my mind, it's futile to run on no energy. If you have nothing to give, then what's the point? You're not building on anything. It's or you're not building the best of something that you could if you don't have the energy. Get yourself to your most optimal state and then go out and do stuff and then come back and do it again. It's that cycle. Give to yourself, give to the world, and then that eventually get to where we're just happiness. You remember when I was talking about all that cups we're passing around? We're passing around those good cups. That's what we're trying to get at here. So don't burn out this week. Take that time to rest, and everything's going to be fine. Because I tell you what, if I ever been frustrated, nothing cures that like a good old nap. So let's just take a nap after this, Capricorn. I apparently need at least 2 naps. Thanks again. Have a great rest of your week. Let's keep raising the vibration, and I will catch you on the next one. Later!